Yeah.
We need to be in proactive leadership rather than reactive. When you're looking at how other people, maybe who you think are ahead of you, they didn't get there alone. That's like, I think the biggest lie that's fed to all of us. Nobody does this alone. None of us know our path. None of us know what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes of our life. And if you think you have control, I want to just hold your hand and giggle a little bit with you. No, you do not have control. The only thing you can control is your attitude and your effort. Let the need be greater than your discomfort, because discomfort is inevitable.
Today we have AliceAnne Loftus here, and I am so thrilled that you're here with me today. So thank you for being here, AliceAnne.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Yes, well, we met a few years ago. I think I was introduced to your podcast. I think I even messaged you on Facebook. Yes. And then it took a few years later. We were at the pool together because we actually
we're neighbors.
We're neighbors, but we never really see each other in the neighborhood that often. And we were at the pool together, and it sparked something bigger. It sparked a conversation about becoming part of a community that you've built called Leading Ladies, and which is really about community and collaboration with women entrepreneurs. And I've just always been so inspired by what you bring to the community and how you lead. We actually have a best-selling book that just launched. So it is called We Lead, Building Connection, Community, and Collaboration for Women in Business. Yes. And it hit the bestseller list. So congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Yes.
We hit bestseller in 6 categories and #1 top new release in starting a business and entrepreneurship. So congrats.
It's exciting. Yes. So, and I think one of the things that as we were talking about what would be most helpful to our listeners, we were talking about the cycle of business and the cycle of building a business, the excitement that goes with it. And then that inevitable point of the business where you're like, I want to burn it all down. Like, what the heck? What am I doing this for? It's that burnout. And so can you speak to, I know that you were just sharing with our group the other day, your own process and journey in this. And I'd love to hear it in your own words and how you see that.
Absolutely. I do think that business is cyclical and nothing is really linear, right? Success is not linear. Happiness is not linear. Everything in life is cycles. I mean, look outside right now. The leaves are falling. So we often will find ourselves as we're building our business, you start to have moments where you're like, is this the right path? Is the work that I'm doing, does it really matter? Why am I doing this? Why am I not like sipping mocktails on a beach right now?
Becoming a woman of leisure.
Yeah. Like I said, I told my husband, I don't want to work anymore. But I think we all have moments of that, especially as high achieving women, because we're managing all the things, we're holding it all together. And sometimes it can feel a little lonely, or you feel like you can't catch your breath, or you don't know how to prioritize what's next, or you do feel like, does this work even matter?
Yeah.
And recently I went through that, my own experience of, building things, tackling that next big thing in my business, and then looking around and going, gosh, I feel kind of lonely. I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I putting so much effort into this? I really just want to close it all down. It was a moment.
I was going to say, and the funny thing is that I also want to share is for anybody that knows you, or, you wouldn't think that,
no,
right? Because
no.
I mean, here you are, you've got 3 books now.
4.
Oh gosh, I'm leaving one out. 4 books, author, speaker, leading this incredible community, a podcast of your own, like helping women in entrepreneurship. So to hear you say you got to that place is surprising. I think would be surprising for people to hear.
I think a lot of people are surprised to hear that, my first business just celebrated 21 years. And so I've been through this cycle many times through the evolution of that business. Leading Lady turns 10 in 2026. And so I'm not new to this.
Yeah.
Right. And so even when the cycle comes and I'm like, golly, I'm so over it. I'm just done. I know that it's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's a mindset. It's my energy is low. I know the things that I need to do to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that doesn't stop it from coming. It doesn't stop that overwhelm from happening, even when you know it and you're like, oh, I'm in that lull, right?
Yeah.
But I still think, yeah, people are surprised.
Well, and I should say, for somebody that's probably been in the business for a decade, they may not be, or you know, multiple decades, they may not be as surprised. But
Right.
for the younger entrepreneur that hasn't been there yet, they're probably like, what?
Yeah,
you know?
it's not. And I'm always very transparent. I will never glamorize entrepreneurship. You know, there's a reason why so few of us are actually doing it.
Yes.
You know,
what is that phrase? It's like, I quit my 9 to 5 so I could work
24/7.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I quit my 40-hour-a-week job so I could work 80 hours a week for myself, you know,
and I don't subscribe to that. I do have really good boundaries on how much I work, but it's not the time. It's the weight of it, the responsibility, you're always thinking about your business. You're always problem solving. You're always thinking about what's next, because success isn't a destination. It's the habit. It's the lifestyle. It's the, you know, making your business fit your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what success is.
Yeah.
If you're reaching for something way out in the horizon, you're never going to get there. Right?
Yeah.
So it's what's happening in your life right now. And it doesn't always feel successful. You're a mom, you know, when you're balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship and whatever's happening in the world, all of that stuff can get really heavy. And how do you prioritize how to deal with that? So recently I was in my lull of let's burn it all down. And I sent out an SOS text message to a few of my ladies. And I said, okay, I'm in this space. I need a mindset shift. I called it an attitude adjustment, you know, a reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing, what success really looks like to me, who I am as a whole person. You know, I'm not a product, or my value isn't summed up by what I produce. And as high achieving women, we often fall into that trap of measuring our value and our worth by what we're producing, putting out there, achieving.
Yeah.
And, you know, you and I talked about kind of the spiral of this, how we ground ourselves back into it. And we bring ourselves back into it, to the root of it, by reminding ourselves of who we are, what our values are, whom we serve, right?
Yeah.
And I needed that. And so to be able to have a community where you can reach out and say, yeah, I'm in this lull. Help me out. Remind me.
Yeah.
Remind me that I'm awesome, that I'm doing great things, and that this is a moment. You know, I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. And it's interesting when you were talking about, you know, that needing and reaching for something more, you know, actually in the book, in my chapter, I talk about the princess energy versus the queen and the differences in those energies, right? The princess is always kind of striving, always needing, whether it's a man, a title, a role, something to fulfill that need. There's a neediness to it because it's not fulfilled, whereas the queen shows up fully resourced.
Yes.
And that's kind of from a place of groundedness because she already knows she's arrived.
Yeah.
You know, and there's power in that.
Yeah.
And it's an energy shift, you know? And I think also for you, kind of knowing, having the awareness to say, okay, I know I'm in the cycle, because feelings are just that. They're
not facts.
Right?
Feelings are not facts.
Yes.
They are real, but they are not facts.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they are guideposts. They are like arrows pointing to maybe, hey, abort this, you know, direction over here time to turn back, or time to reach out to a friend, or whatever that is, because something is off.
Right. It's like your check engine light comes on, and you don't throw your car away or say, oh, guess it's time for a new car because my check engine light came on. No, it comes on, and that's a guide that says, hey, something's off. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at it. Something needs a little attention here.
Yeah.
And how many times does our check engine light come on through the cycle of owning a car, right? Could you imagine if we just threw it out or replaced it every single time?
Right.
So we have to pay attention to those warning signals that come up, and know that that's kind of part of it all. We all need maintenance. We all need to come back into ourselves and really make sure that we're aligned with the work that we're doing.
And I think I appreciate your vulnerability as well, because I think that gives other people permission to feel that, to say, oh, I'm not alone. Right. Yeah, I have felt that too. And okay, at least I'm not.
I'm normal.
I'm normal.
I'm human. I wish that I had examples of that when I was new in business, or when I was looking at my role models or the women ahead of me, and I'm thinking, how did she get there? It can feel, when you're looking at someone's highlight reels, or all the success and the shiny things that they put out there when they glamorize entrepreneurship and they're not real about it, you might unintentionally be receiving or putting out messages that this is easy. And if you're having a hard time, then you're doing it wrong. And I would almost argue that if you're experiencing hard times, you're probably doing it right.
Yeah.
You're probably doing it right. If it's too easy, then it's probably not worth it. But I think that that's just a very normal part of owning a business and putting something out there because you believe in it.
Yeah. Learning how to manage that emotional highs and lows of it, coming back to center.
Yeah.
So I know, what are ways that you help people kind of think through where they are, the strategy for the business? We're coming to end of year. So as we think about next year, what's next, I think sometimes that burnout piece just means you're on the precipice of something different, or maybe even expanded, or, a different direction. Because like you said, business isn't linear. But how do you help people think about that? Think about their business and...
Well, so I have the strategic wheel. You've gone through it yourself.
And actually, so for anybody, we're not in this part of the studio. If for anybody watching, I have AliceAnne's big yellow boards that we did together all throughout my office because it was so powerful.
It's beautiful wallpaper, I have to be honest. It matches everything. That bright neon yellow stickers that are across my pink walls,
written with things that we went through the strategic wheel together. And it really did help me a lot. So I'd love for you to share that process with our listeners.
Sure. So I am a business strategist. I didn't realize that, when we start our businesses, my first business is childcare. I went to school, I became a kindergarten teacher. I had no idea I would be an entrepreneur. But through my years of owning a business, I had to learn things like strategy, understand my finances, understand what a P&L is, my standard operating procedures, marketing. You have to learn all of those things. Most people who are in business did not go to school to learn those things. So I found through my journey of that how much it actually lit me up. And so I did really invest a lot into learning the business side of it. And so my goal is to help women understand that in strategic planning or strategic building of your business, that you do have to know those things. You don't have to know everything about it, but you need to know enough to know what you don't know and get the support around that. So in the strategic planning process, we do look at finances. Like, what is your financial hygiene in your business? Do you know how to read reports? Do you know your income streams? We talk about operations, all of the things that happen behind the scenes in your business. What tools do you use? What tools are you paying for that you're not using? Really doing an audit of the behind the scenes. We talk about the marketing and your visibility plan. Are you reaching your ideal client? Do you even know who your ideal client is? Start there.
Right.
And then what platforms are you reaching out and showing up so that people can learn about you? And then we talk about your products and your services. However, and this is an important part of the strategic wheel. In 2008, when the world crashed, right? And businesses were just dying. Can you imagine what that did to childcare? The first thing people do is pull their kids out of childcare. Grandma's watching them, neighbors watching them. So I had to really look at how I was going to run my business. And that was probably the biggest lesson in really understanding how businesses run and what you need to do as a person to show up in that. And it nearly took me out to fall that hard, that early in business. But it was the structure, the operations, the finances. Because I had those systems in place, the business was able to stay afloat, right? But what people didn't take into consideration is the mental load of, okay, I just went through something so hard. And mind you, in 2008, I had really little kids too. Like I had a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Oh my
during
goodness.
this crash of a business,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So I was dealing with a failing business. I was a new mom who was exhausted. My marriage my husband's also an entrepreneur, so he was going through all the same things, right? Mm-hmm. So we were like barely holding on. And I tell everyone that, yeah, my systems and my processes and understanding the workings of business kept us moving, but it was all the work I did on myself that took me from surviving to thriving. Of making sure I was okay, that I was getting the support that I needed during that. There was just a lot happening there.
Yes.
So in my strategic planning, I pull in the human side of it as well. Who's supporting you? Like, and I don't mean financially, but like just cheering you on, reminding you that you've got it. Who can you send that SOS text out to that's going to say, don't give up. You've got this. We're here for you.
Yeah.
How's your health? Physical, mental, spiritual? Are you taking care of you? Personal and professional development. Do you have hobbies, interests, things that light you up outside of your work? We have to pull the balance in there. And I don't see a lot of that in strategic planning. I think that in a lot of strategic planning, women are told, just work harder, hustle harder. Mm-hmm. And that leads to burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a very masculine, because I think for a long time we've mirrored this masculine model of success as women, or we've tried to kind of, okay, well, keep up with this. But there's actually a very, it's more of a feminine way of doing business, but it's allowing things to attract in. Mm-hmm. It's realizing that there's actually a 5D world that we live in,
Totally.
And we have access to more than we know, whether it's, tuning in. I mean, I think intuition is an underrated business skill.
Yeah.
So how are we listening? How are we tuning in? How are we making the most of our opportunities? Looking, it's all of those things.
Yeah.
So what are some ways that you've brought that balance into your own business or in what you just went through?
Definitely community. Leading Lady is the community I needed at that time. And, just like I said, when we're looking at how other people, maybe who you think are ahead of you, they didn't get there alone. That's like, I think the biggest lie that's fed to all of us. Nobody does this alone.
Yeah.
No one does. Even if you're a solopreneur, you are not alone. You need a community. You need people that are going to share their resources with you, help guide you, share their experiences with you. I think that's why the We Lead series books are so powerful and have done so well. It's through our stories that we empower one another, empower ourselves. To inspire, you must first be inspired. And I definitely believe in community, that we have to find our people that understand us, that hold space without judgment, and and just remind you to get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that idea that, business isn't linear. It
It's
is, it's evolving like we all are.
Yeah.
We're evolving into this and we change. And
Yeah.
so I think the annual practice or quarterly practice of reviewing kind of where you are is crucial.
You need to keep your hand on the pulse. You need to, what's happening. Even once I bounced back from the crash of 2008, and I got it all together. I did all the work on myself. I ended up expanding, scaling, growing my business beyond what I could even imagine. And then guess what? COVID.
Another, for childcare. I mean,
can you even, I have like PTSD of running preschool programs during a global pandemic. That was cuckoo bananas, but but again, it was those systems and processes. You need to have those in place before you're emotional, because they will keep your business afloat. But all of that other work, you need to keep checking in with yourself, and have a good support system to bring you back to that. Because a strategy without support, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's really not going to work. So, I encourage women to check in frequently. Like you said, at least annually. Do a strategic plan annually. And don't do it in January. Do it in fourth quarter before the year ahead. Have a plan. And even if that plan changes, at least you have a map, but then also check in either with a coach or with a cohort or a mastermind or a mentor, someone that you can check in with monthly or quarterly to say, hey, here's where my adjustments are or need to be made, or I need to plan for this ahead of time so that I can brace myself for whatever's coming up next. Yeah. We need to be in proactive leadership rather than reactive.
Yeah. And I think, one of the biggest mindset shifts for me when it came to business and in my own entrepreneurial journey was hiring a coach. And I remember I was so scared because it was a really big check at the time that I was writing.
Yeah.
And looking back, it was the best investment I ever made. And
perfect. It's an investment.
It's an investment. And that's one thing.
If you have a good coach.
Yeah, that's true. But what was interesting, because I remember at the time I had a real estate team, but I was managing several offices and I was working for my brokerage. And I was really burnt out. I was not in a good place. And I just, managing agents is a little like herding cats.
Sure. I think managing anyone is hard. People are people.
Yes. Right. And I was like, listen, if I'm going to herd cats, I'm going to do it under my own team that I can control more than, in that role. So anyway, I put the feelers out there to some of my support system and ended up having this call with my business coach now. And like I said, I was scared because it was like draining my business account to pay this money. But in the end, again, it was the best investment I could have ever made because it launched me into where I am now. And every year that business continues to expand and grow. Yeah. And the biggest mindset shift is instead of thinking of it as an expense, of looking at it as an investment.
Yeah. Your coach should help you make money.
Yes.
Money isn't everything, but we all need money. We have to pay our bills. These aren't our hobbies. These are our livelihoods. So a good coach, and you could probably do a whole other episode on how to find a good coach because anyone can call themselves a coach, unfortunately. And so, but a good coach is someone that's going to help you see perspectives, that's going to help you see things that you don't see in yourself. Or it's going to help you problem solve. You're going to have a safe space where you can objectively brainstorm. It really is a support in a way that also stretches you, helps you get past your limiting beliefs and your own insecurities or self-doubt, right? So to have a coach that can guide you and challenge you in those ways. It really should be an investment in your business.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to do your homework before just hiring anyone.
Very true. An interview, have those
Mm-hmm.
interviews and understand.
Make sure it's a good fit.
Yeah.
I'm not for everyone. I am not the shake your pom-poms, cheer you on when you're not doing what you told me you're going to do. I'm a tough love coach, and I know that's not for everyone, but I also know the people that are looking for that, straight talk and the strategic thinking of that, they appreciate that style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. It is about finding the right style for you and what works for you. What do you need to hear to help motivate you to that next level? And I remember again in one of our sessions, I was like, wait, you think I can do that?
Yeah.
Like
I do.
I was like, really?
I do.
And so, like you said, it's having that person that can sometimes see a bigger vision for you and help you believe in the bigger vision, help you get past some of that self-doubt. Like, yes, you can do this.
Mm-hmm. You can.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that solo game is not so solo then.
Right.
You've got people that around you that can cheer you on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think that surprised me about you was that actually you're very shy.
Yeah.
I did not know you were an introvert.
How an introvert got into community building, I have no idea. Like, my favorite thing to do is be at home alone with my dog. I am, and people often don't believe me when I say that. It's not that I'm shy. I'm reserved, and I am. I'm just introverted. I'm someone who doesn't get a lot of energy from being out and about.
Yeah.
I need a lot of downtime. People are often surprised to hear that I watch about 3 hours of television a day.
Really?
I do.
Oh my.
Yeah.
What shows?
Anything. Like, I binged watched The Beast in Me last night. Totally scary, by the way. To sleep with the light on. But
wow.
People are often surprised by that. And I don't know. I think that a woman called me the other day. She was interested in creating her own community like Leading Lady. Mm-hmm. She's an amazing woman. She's had a jewelry line for 20 plus years, a very successful businesswoman. And she said, I love leading ladies. I want to build a community just like this, where she's at. I'm like, awesome. I think originally she wanted a franchise, but I'm not into that. So
got it.
I'm like, I'll help you out, but
right.
I'm not selling this. So, but we're talking, she's like, okay, AliceAnne, but my biggest thing is I'm an introvert. I'm like, me too. And that's okay. Half the time I don't even want to see anybody, but that's okay. She says, well, how do you do it? And I said, because the need is greater than my discomfort. I needed a community. Even as an introvert, I needed a place to go that was uplifting and empowering and has resources. Don't forget, my background is education. So I need to be learning something in spaces that I'm in as well. And if I needed that, other women need that too. Mm-hmm. And I see the solution to it. So I need to step out of my comfort zone and do that. But I also have to put in some pretty hard boundaries for myself. I have to give myself space to recharge. I have to honor who I am at my core. Mm-hmm. And I think burnout happens when we don't do that. And that's probably how I was feeling in the weeks prior when I wasn't holding those boundaries and I was, out and about and not catching up on all my shows and stuff. I also read a lot too. I mean, I'm not a total TV junkie, but
right.
You have to honor who you really are at your core.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just it. It's having the awareness to know this is what I need. This is me, and this is how I can show up. Yeah. And then also know where you can, and I think that you do this really well, is bringing in team to help leverage where you need help so that you can lean into your strengths. You can show up as you. Mm-hmm. And then you've also got pieces that you've built where the other things can be managed.
Yeah. And the beautiful part about a community or a group is that you're not the only one holding the energy. right?
Yeah.
And just like you said, that's why the groups matter, the teams matter, because on days when I'm low energy, you got Julie Blanfin that's going to come in, and she's going to
She's
light
on the
it up.
podcast,
Yes,
and we were just talking about her joy and playfulness.
Right.
And,
I surround myself with people that are, I know are going to have the standard of excellence that I have, but also are going to carry the energy for each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show up for each other, and we're going to support our community in those ways.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any mindfulness practices or any ways that you personally center?
Oh, yes. A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Let's hear them.
I think we need another episode for that. I do journal a lot. I write a lot. Obviously, I have 4 books out, so I do a lot of writing. But journaling practice, I add whimsy to my life.
When can we come back to the journaling real fast? Because I am always curious to know, because I journal a lot as well. Like, what does your journaling practice look like? Is it thoughts about the day? Is it dreams about the future? Is it all of the above? Like, how do you use that?
It really depends on the day and what I need. Sometimes it's just a stream of consciousness. You know, I set a timer and I just write. Oftentimes it comes out in prayer. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, oh, I just wrote out the prayer that I needed to say out loud, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a gratitude list. Sometimes it's whatever's heavy on my heart, you know, 2 worries of the day. A big practice that I do every night, I write, what do I need to let go? I don't want to take this into my sleep, right? So it really just depends on how I'm feeling. I have every journal I have ever written since I was 9 years old. Somebody's probably going to make like a documentary on that or something. I don't know. I don't think it's that interesting until I look back and I'm like, wow. That 9-year-old, she was pretty deep. she had a lot of thoughts. That's
amazing.
I think she'd be really proud of me today. Yeah. But, you know, cool. So it really just depends on what comes through. And I reach out to other women like Elizabeth Harris and I, she's the leading lady ambassador. She's our registered dietitian. So I'll give a little plug to her. Mm-hmm. We were kind of going through a lull together. So we did a journal practice together. I think it's called the Art of Alchemy. I'm saying that wrong. But it was a book, and it had little like 3-minute prompts every day. That was so fun.
Oh, that's cool.
To hold each other accountable for that. So definitely journaling is a meditative practice. And then I add whimsy to my life. I'm a whimsical person. I find beauty and joy in the tiniest of things, and that really helps center me. And I try to add whimsy in everything, whether it's a bouquet of flowers, you know, good music while I'm cooking dinner. I cook a lot as well.
I'm very jealous of all the people that get your food. I'm just going to say it because I see on your Instagram how you cook for other people. And sometimes I'm like, can I pay you to cook for me?
I do. I cook for probably about 7 to 9 people each week. It looks
delicious.
Yeah. It is a labor of love, but it is one of the things that brings me the most joy and when I feel most myself. And so we sponsor Midshipman, which I highly recommend that your family does that to be in a, you know, where we are. Yeah. But it just brings me so much joy, and that brings me back to who I am. Yeah. So, my list is pretty hefty of how
Any other things you want to add?
Cooking, adding whimsy, meditating, journaling. Music is a big part of my life. A lot of people don't know that I'm actually a pretty good singer.
Oh, wow. Add that to the list.
And any time with my dog. I literally, anything with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little pup, I think she must have she's at the door.
Oh, they can smell you. Toddlers and dogs know if you are a kid or a dog.
She must have just heard the word dog, and then she just, you know. She's my world too. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think it's just so pure, you know. Yeah. Anything that can bring you back to the humanness of you.
Yeah. I love that. So as we kind of close out, what would be, and we close out the year and we're kind of thinking of the ways that I like to think of us as, again, we talked about that nonlinear path of entrepreneurship, but also, asking God, to guide us into how can we continue to live out this highest expression of who we're meant to be in the world. And with that sometimes comes new opportunities. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and she said, well, if you know your path, because I was like, I'm not sure about this. She's like, you know what? If you know your path, it's probably not your path.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think any of us know our path.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like, you know what? So you just show up in the moment and you continue to ask to be guided to the right next thing and listen. What would be, but as we think about, how do we expand into this next, or it's especially timely as we think about the new year and the change that inevitably I think we all kind of feel this okay. Any thoughts on that as you talk to a business owner, an entrepreneur that's thinking of what's my next?
What's your next? I would say just be open. None of us know our path. None of us know what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes of our life. And if you think you have control, I want to just hold your hand and giggle a little bit with you. No, you do not have control. The only thing you can control is your attitude and your effort. And so be open, trust, that you have everything you need, and everything you need, you have. It will be provided to you. And again, we probably need like a whole series of episodes. But I used to look at my life and I would say, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And now I look at it and I say, okay, this is happening because it's preparing me for whatever's next. Yeah. Or I'm meant to share this with someone else to help her with whatever she's going through or will go through next. And so be open to receive. Trust yourself. Trust that everything you need will be provided to you. And go for it. Go for it. Let the need be greater than your discomfort, because discomfort is inevitable.
That is an amazing way to close out our conversation. I thank you for that, because I think that's what we all need to be reminded of.
Yeah. Nobody promised an easy life.
No.
No one promised that.
Yeah. But it is how we respond to what is in front of us. And if we think about, like you and I were talking at the very beginning of this like wheel, if you think of the business as a wheel, and as it goes round and round, there's inevitably, as it goes around, there's highs, there's lows as the circle turns. And so the more you can be in the center and able to respond from a grounded place, from a fully resourced place, knowing that
you have everything you need.
You have everything you need, and it's then up to you to say, how am I going to choose to respond to what's in front of me?
Yeah.
And be open to miracles happening too, because they're around
they
too.
They happen every minute of every day.
Yeah.
Right. And it is cyclical. I tend to look at our journey of life as a spiral staircase. We're going to see the same patterns over and over again as we loop around, but we're going to be at a higher level, altitude, perspective, however you want to look at that. And so when you come back to those cycles, and you will have those moments where you want to burn it all down.
Yeah.
Remind yourself, okay, I've been here before. How did I get through it? What resources did I need? What resources do I need to reach out to? And trust yourself.
Yeah. And it's like that, like when you're in the storm, if you can kind of also realize that it's happening at a certain layer, right? And if you can just kind of shift up a little bit to have perspective and vision, it's, once you're above the clouds, you're not in the storm anymore, you know?
Right.
It's so, and it's happening at certain vibrations, at certain levels, but sometimes it's just about shifting awareness, shifting perspective.
Yes.
And the whole thing, you can see it from a different perspective,
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you so very much.
Yes,
this is a beautiful conversation, and I appreciate us finally making it happen.
Yes.
So if people want to find out more about you and the ways that they can work with you, join Leading Ladies or some of the different communities that we have, can you share a little bit about the ways that people can connect with you and the community you're building?
Oh my gosh, I'm everywhere.
I know. I love it.
Send me a smoke signal. I'll find you. But I think the easiest way is to join our free Facebook group. It's Leading Ladies with AliceAnne Loftus. It's a community of over 7,000 women. Yeah, It's amazing. That's a great place to start. If you're local to Annapolis, we have several in-person networking and education events happening here. And we have an online hub, the Leading Ladies Business Hub. It's a paid membership. It's low. It's like the cost of lunch, right? Per month. Great community. Women all over the world are in there. And, the books, my podcast, I'm everywhere. Text me, smoke signal me. If you text me after 8 p.m. though, I'm going to text you at 5 in the morning.
She's probably watching her show.
I'm definitely watching my shows.
That's so great. Well, thank you. We'll drop it all in the show notes as well, so people can learn, can have easy access. So they don't have to put up the smoke signal.
You don't have to do that. The flamingo bat signal.
That's right. Exactly. But thank you again.
Thank you for having me. This is lovely.